Hey, what's up, y'all? This is another episode of Dooley Harris Presents. I have a special guest. The first episode was so good, I had to bring him back, and hopefully another time and another time and another time. Health coach Maraea Tutson. I said it right this time. Yay,
Yes.
got it this time. Today we're going to be talking about stress relief and weight loss. And I already have. As soon as you said that, I had so many questions going in my head. Um, do they correlate?
They do. They do correlate because a lot of times when we are overweight, our hormones are out of balance, and it it also affects how we feel, our mood, and our stress levels. So one of the hormones that tends to get out of whack is cortisol and estrogen and things of that nature. So we want to make sure we balance those things out and reduce our stress so we can reduce those hormones and get them in balance and things of that nature. So yes, yes, to answer your question.
Okay. Now, have you seen the fact of people actually are, some people get stressed and they lose weight?
So are you asking like if it's possible for somebody that has lost weight still to get stressed?
Or no, stress being the cause of weight loss?
Hmm.
Or is it like a little wives' tale or myth or whatever?
That's the first time I've heard that. Um, Stress being the cause of weight loss. Oh, yeah, I mean I've seen that before, like a person not eating and things like that.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, something like that.
yeah, I've seen that. I mean, I can I would have experienced it, right? Like if a person is stressed out and they're not taking care of themselves and they're laying around all day, like living a sedentary lifestyle, smoking, drinking, not working out, not eating right, because of they're stressed out about their circumstances, I can totally see that happen for sure.
Okay. People react. I mean, you said it throws off your body's imbalance because of it, which makes sense.
Hmm.
Um, it can make you less deficient in certain things.
Yeah, well, our body needs minerals and nutrients. The nutrients that we get from fruits and vegetables and things of that nature. So a lot of us are on the go, right? It's specifically nurses like myself or caregivers. We're constantly worried about looking outside of ourselves and worried about the things that we got to do and the people that we have to take care of. So oftentimes we're getting food on the go, like going to fast food restaurants and things like that. Which we know about the fast food restaurants, and they typically have chemicals in their food that we crave after we eat them. Our body tends to crave those same things, and we keep going back and we keep going back. And so if we create a lifestyle to where we're eating fast food all the time and junk food, processed foods, and things of that nature, it throws our equilibrium off. And that type of stuff affects how we feel, how we act, and our response to stress. So I like to tell people, if you are um, if you are operating that type of lifestyle, it's important to detox the body, and meditate too at the same time. But detoxing so you can get all those toxins out of you, and and be able to think more clearly, right? And then also include, like I was saying on the last episode, the meditation, right? Because people are so they operate in the five senses, right? So we're operating in our five senses, and um we're trying to change our behavior by like behavior modification techniques and things like that. But it takes for us to tap into our subconscious mind, because a lot of the behavior we see on a day-to-day basis is from things that we learned growing up. The ages between 1 and 7 is where we get a lot of the programs on how we eat, like our mother and our cousins, uncles, and aunts and stuff like that. Um, Between those years, this is the type of behavior we learned. It got programmed in us, like eating of the fast food. And I can remember like one for myself is like McDonald's. Like when I was younger, I was always seeing McDonald's commercial coming up on the screen, and they made it look so fun. It had the little characters and all that stuff. So when we're seeing it with one of our five senses, we like, oh, and that's it's marketing, right? And repetition is key when it comes to marketing. So the little kids are seeing these characters and they're like, oh yeah, mom, you're like, I want McDonald's. Like McDonald's was like the reward if we were being good. And so we were programmed. And then we ride past it when, when we ride in a car and stuff like that. So we was like, oh, I want to go there, like, and then they had the little playground. So they definitely program us to want those type of things. And then even the colors that is used on on these buildings and stuff, it represents like our lower nature. Like the red is like our root chakra. It's a lower vibration. It deals with like our fight or flight and our survival. So even when we see the color red, psychologically it affects us because we're in this fight or flight stage, this lower vibration, this scarcity mindset. And that's like what the enemy wants us to focus on is scarcity and lack. But we know, like in the word of God, it talks about us being abundant and things like that. So if we can get our body cleansed, if we can meditate and go into our subconscious mind and reprogram ourselves and get the education that we need as far as the different energy centers in our body and how it correlate with our temple and how we can raise our energy, raise our vibration, and ascend to higher states of consciousness, we can eliminate we can eliminate the stress. And so with that being said, um, the way that the meditation part works is that basically when you meditate and you go within, you reprogram your subconscious mind, um, the stuff on the outside of your body, outside of yourself, is no longer able to sway you, right? Outside stressors cannot affect you as they did before because you have inner peace and inner wholeness, and you just go within and kind of ascend in consciousness, cleansing your heart and all that type of stuff, renewing your mind from things that were programmed in you. So
Also, I'd like to ask, considering I would think it would be very, very difficult to unprogram yourself from a certain lifestyle to actually stop eating fast food. A lot of people know that that stuff ain't made for you to eat every day, and it makes it worse. Like I said, when we were coming up, it was a reward,
right.
and now it's to the point to where like my job, that was a reward, maybe once, twice a year. I see this like at least 20 people there every day. I was like, this can't be good.
Mm-hmm.
But also when you do that, actually exercising more, that's a change in lifestyle. Would that be safe to say that you're actually changing your lifestyle with the diet and exercise?
Yes. Yes, and we're called to take care of our temple. A lot of how we were programmed um geared us towards the destruction of our temple, which is our body. And so we tend to, indulge in, destructive behaviors because of the lies we were told. Either by I mean people can say the enemy, but is the inner me, the lower nature that we have, that we're all here to like ascend in consciousness. So um I guess you could say like we were born into this lower vibrational, lower nature, and we have to, find ourselves, find the God within. And so we're called to take care of our temples because a lot of people don't understand, but we are so powerful. Like our mind is powerful. Um, like and just for an example, like have you ever thought of somebody and then they end up calling
Yeah.
or texting and stuff like that? So our mind is that powerful. I mean, I guess you can call it telekinesis or whatever the case may be, but we really are the internet, and then they have an artificial one, but we are just so powerful. Our beings are so powerful. Our body is powerful. Um, I remember, during the pandemic, and I hope I can say that on here, sorry. But I was meditating, and as I went within, it was revealed to me that my body is the temple. Like I've heard it before, but it really hit home when I was meditating. And like I was saying in the other video, like people say when you die, like all these things flash before you. Um, those things is coming up, but at the same time, Most High revealed to me like my body is the temple, and He's seen everything I did with my body, and so I was like, you know,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry,
Yeah,
I'm
man.
sorry.
And then we don't notice until those times though how much punishment we put ourselves through, both physically, mentally, diet wise. I mean, it's basically from what my understanding. This is from my understanding. Like with that type of when you're eating that type of food and things like that, it's basically killing you slowly.
Yeah, because we're eating death. Anything that's dead, like processed food, that food is not alive. It's processed. It has chemicals in it to make it taste good. Um, Anything that has been kissed by the sun is what we should be consuming. Um, and so even when it comes to hydration, the water the bottled water that we drink has estrogen particles in it, and so that throws our hormones off. Like it's just a hot mess.
What about the
And at the end of
fluoride? I'm sorry.
the fluoride, yeah, for sure, the fluoride calcifies our pineal gland. Some people call it the third eye, but it's in the word of God, the word pineal. And so, I would encourage people to stay away from tap water. Drink spring water instead. Um, and or, if they can, go to like Whole Foods and get organic fruits and vegetables, some melons and things of that nature, and juice it, because we get more hydration from the fruits versus the actual H2O, um, which is not that hydrating. Actually, when we continue to drink the bottled waters, I don't know if you noticed, but if you drink bottled water, you get more thirsty. you keep you keep going after that next bottle. So yeah.
Yeah, so you're truly not quenched. A question. Someone told me like, when it's hot outside, you exercising or something, you drink cold water, that's not good.
Hmm. I haven't heard that one. I haven't heard that one, but I mean, I would I would recommend somebody drinking some water with like electrolytes in them or something like that. I mean, I can see how, it's hot outside and they're drinking regular water that don't have any minerals. They can get dehydrated more quickly, because the water that people typically drink don't have minerals in it. And so we need to replace that salt and to be able to continue to function and things like that. So
Oh,
that's hence why people use like the Gatorade, but I don't even recommend that because it has sugar in it, right?
yes, it has a lot of sugar in it.
Yeah, so it would be beneficial for people to get, mineral water that doesn't have sugar, that will help them while they're working out.
All right, when I was younger, I lived in a village and they had well water. That was the most smelliest, disgusting water you could ever drink. But they said it's good for you. His house. I mean, you could literally taste every rock, grain of gravel. Like it was disgusting. So I was just thinking, like, do you know, like, if well water is actually good for you?
That's a good question, and I admit I am not well versed on that. That gives me something to go research, um, for sure. Now you got me curious.
Yeah, like, oh my God, you had little stuff floating in it. You had to let it sit for a minute so it clear up. it was I can still smell it to this day. Like it
Oh
was,
man.
oh, the
Yeah.
only way I could drink it if it was like cold, like very, 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 very cold, like almost frozen. Then I could bear it. But
Hmm.
yeah, that was one of my childhood traumas. Well water.
I can see how that is traumatizing.
Yeah.
You're looking at the floaties and all that stuff. You're like, you want me to do what?
You only can be thirsty for so long, so
Yeah, you ain't boil it or nothing.
nope. And then I didn't know about that idea of boiling water. You know what I'm saying? I got
Yeah,
older then, I seen boiled water advisories and stuff like that. That seemed like a good idea.
no charcoal, no none of that.
Yeah, all the charcoal was inside of the well water. It was, oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm sorry you had to experience that. I mean, as long as I guess, I mean, I have to research it, but you're still here, so it couldn't have been.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
couldn't have
yeah.
been done. Yeah.
You know how they say, but did you die though? No, I didn't die. So I mean, tasted like death, but yeah, I didn't die.
All right.
So I've been trying to keep a journal lately because my mind isn't as sharp as a tack or a whip, and I deal with so many different people and different tasks and things like that. I'm always forgetting something. Do you have any advice or anything on how to like what the importance of a journal or writing things down and planners, things like that?
Yeah, and I am
Hmm.
on that myself. Just using the calendar. I use my calendar on Google more so now than ever, and then I also use Google Keeps. That was recommended by one of my coaches, so you can kind of check things off and have a to-do list. When it comes to the journaling, I'm still getting in the habit of that. I can see the importance of it though, because even when like when I'm meditating and things like that and getting downloads, I feel like if you don't write it down like early in the morning when it's given to you while you're going throughout the day, you may forget it. So um I'm like, when we're in a meditative state and things of that nature, I feel like it's important to write the stuff down. Because that thought might not come back for a while,
Until somebody
especially when
reminds you.
yeah, or like the thought may come, and then if you don't write it down, you're going on about your day and things like that. And then sometimes it takes a while for you to get back into the meditative state to where you're able to receive again. And then it may come up and you'll be like, dog, like it could be a missed opportunity and stuff like that, especially if we don't write it down. So I actually have an appointment after this with one of my coaches that she I have these journals here that we have, and I'm actually on unit 3, I believe. So she's helping me get into the habit of writing down in my journal. Unit 3 I have not printed out yet, and so yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm there. I understand. I totally get it.
Yeah, so and then even in the word it says write the vision, make it plain. So I feel like that is important when it comes to business. I have written business plans. I will say that. So it's important when it comes to business and your personal life. And as it correlates to your spiritual life, it's important as well because this journey is something else. For sure.
Agreed.
But yeah, so it's definitely important. Um, like I said, I use Google, so I don't tend to. I do have one here, one like a desk calendar, but I typically don't write it. And um, from some of the people that I've recently been in contact with, and one of the ministers that I follow, they do both, and so I believe I may incorporate that this year, doing both for sure.
Okay, so what advice would you have someone for to actually start? How does someone might not know where to begin with stress relief, things like that.
Mm, again, is detoxing. Um, I recommend TLC products. I use their tea to detox. And then also taking time out for yourself. We're so used to like trying to pour from an empty cup. So going into nature and or a space in your home where you can listen to um like a 432 hertz off of YouTube, 432 hertz frequency, and just kind of get into a meditative state and do some breath work to release stress. Um, that's where I would say start at detoxing your body and finding time for yourself to meditate. Uh, and while you're meditating, visualizing yourself being who you desire to be, right? You know, even saying to yourself, I am stress free, you know, um, I have good, you know, loving relationships with my family and friends, you know, things of that nature. Just finding time by yourself to go within and do those affirmations.
Okay, and is it safe to say if you don't see immediate results, don't give up?
It is, but I can tell you, oftentimes they will come immediately. Experience this, like when I went on that fast for a whole week, I started meditating and acting as if, feeling as if I already received what I desire. And, you know, things were manifesting in my life. So, you know, in addition to that, like I said before, like keep the word at the forefront, like get into your word and read about the promises, meditate on those as well. But when you do the things I just said, like that, the manifestations will come. And um, that's another reason why it's good to have a journal, because as you begin to meditate and manifest things, um, there will be synchronicities, quote unquote, that you will begin to see happening in your life. And if you don't, if you don't have the ear to hear or eyes to see that what you desired is now coming to pass, you'll miss it, right? So when you start to meditate and things like that, it's nice to have a journal like at your side in your car or something like that. And so when you have these little moments like, oh, you know, I when I was meditating, I was desiring this, and then I just met this person like out the blue, a stranger just said something to me like that was, you know, lead me to my next step type of thing. It's like Little Red Riding Hood, and then these breadcrumbs just start um, coming in or manifesting, if you will. So I guess that's how you can think of it. But
It seems like life will begin to make more sense after the fact, though.
yeah, yeah, because you're going within. I mean, he talks about be still and know that I am. The
And
kingdom of God is within us, and that's why it's so important to take care of our temples. But yeah, when you go within, when you sit with yourself and go within and forgive yourself, because some stuff, like I said before, some stuff is gonna come up, and you just gotta be tough and be able to handle some foolish mistakes you made, or you know what you may did to somebody else or what they did to you. As long as you can sit with yourself and forgive, that take a load off your heart, so you can begin to receive the abundance that is promised to us. Can't do it with a heavy heart and unforgiveness.
another thing, like let's just say our parents and their parents and their parents, they weren't aware of these type of things. It's safe to say, you know, such as like a psychiatrist. They write, "Oh, I'm not crazy." You don't necessarily have to be crazy. You know what I'm saying? It can
Mm-hmm.
better help you therapy, things like therapy. it can be to help you better understand yourself, understand things like that,
Hmm.
instead of something that's always got to be wrong.
Yeah. As soon as you said that, it made me think about the movie The Matrix. It talked about, the older a person gets, it's harder for them to change their ways and kind of unplug from what they were taught and things of that nature. Um, and so, but I do know that the Most High is powerful, and He can, that the Spirit of the Most High, like He can do anything. So I still believe that it can be done. It just has to do with whether or not the person have faith to believe that it can. And faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. And so as long as they can borrow our faith and have a little bit of their own, I believe a transformation can happen. But they definitely have to be open. And I believe that starts with meditating and just releasing some things and forgiving some people, including yourself.
I think that will be key on finding happiness as a whole in general. I mean, it's just my thoughts on it. Because a lot of people are dragged down by things like that. It holds them back. It has a grip on it.
Yeah,
It's a heaviness, I would like to say.
it is, and it keeps us in our lower vibrational state, and then that when you talk about older people and our grandparents operating and stuff like that, the kids they love their grandparents and all of that type of stuff, and you know it just has to change, and I believe it takes for us to just show the love, the patience, the kindness, and still honor our parents and our grandparents and stuff like that, because they didn't have the information, they didn't know. And so just continue to love on them as they acquire the information, and as they you know
And
and
another,
pray. Mhm.
I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead.
Another thing though too. Before my mom passed, we things happened miraculously. Never in the day of my life would I assume that we would reconcile. And not only that, it was a big burden lifted off of me, knowing when you realize when someone is doing the only thing they know, that takes a lot of the mystique and facade away from everything that happened. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
They can literally be doing the best they can, the best they know how to do. That was a total game changer. And it just showed me how to take a new approach to everything and things like that. I mean, I guess it worked out, but just realize that, they didn't know all of this stuff. They didn't have all these resources we have now. You know what I'm saying? So
Absolutely.
they did the best they knew how. And,
Right.
and they didn't have it that great either. They had it worse. And then, only thing on their mind is for you not to go through the same thing by certain means. It could be from spanking to, things like that. Like, I mean, now to this point, it's like, okay, I got tore up. I know better now. Than a generation, they say there's a generation of kids that didn't have their butt whooped, but at the end of the day, you don't have to whoop their butt for them to be, behave and things like that. I feel it starts as soon as they're born and things like that.
Hmm.
They say if you pull a bow and arrow back hard, far enough and hard enough, it'll reach its target. If you barely pull on it, it's going to fall short. It's not going to hit its target. So when I say that by saying this: start from when they're born, and then pull back, and then when it's time for you to release them, they'll be on the straight and narrow to hit the target. That's the best analogy I could think of at this moment.
Yeah. Yeah, we definitely have to pour into them and teach them some things for sure. Um, I suppose the basics, right? But I mean, I'm looking to really reach individuals so they can teach it at a younger age. So we're not starting at age 33. You know what I'm saying? Like we're not awakening, at age 33 and just now tapping into spiritual things.
You'd be so upset with yourself. I've reached this mark and I could have did this decades ago. You know what I'm saying? Like you'd be like, wow. I mean, but I don't know. The finish line is the finish. I mean, the start line, finish line. You make it there, that's fine. I just look at it like that. But in hindsight, you're like, well, dang.
Yeah, and the Most High redeems the time, so we don't really have to get discouraged and things of that nature. We're all on a journey. Um, we're all on a journey to get back to source. And so everybody is going to be at different intervals, and it's good for us to be interdependent in that process and just learn from each other. And also, you know, if somebody is where there is, you know, and I just went through this myself, like just people just being in different places spiritually, and while you're on this journey, you can be, quote unquote offended by certain things, but um overlooking an offense is where our mindset should be at. And so that takes strength as well. And
You just said something that it just popped in my head. Like, okay, things that are not okay in this day and age. Um, for one, billboards. Have you noticed the different type of billboards that they have now? What they're advertising? Think about it. It's crazy, especially for the area that I work in and things like that. Exit this, weed. Exit that, weed. Weed, 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 weed. Every exit. That's unheard of. From my eyes. Another thing, I saw a billboard that says, "Remember when college was about losing your virginity instead of your sanity?" Things like that. Like
mm,
that doesn't. That's a message that they're actually sending. Call me
mm.
old school. Call me old school. I'm just saying.
No, I'm picking up what you're putting down. I believe to a certain degree, well, the weed, when you put fire to it, it disrupts it burns your brain cells, if you will. And maybe I'm not using the right terminology, but it fries your brain cells. And so like when it comes to it, I believe it has um healing properties or whatnot. It is a plant, but I feel like instead of smoking it, it should be consumed in a different way, right?
Yeah. And I saw a documentary too that just said exactly what you just said. It was like it was made for us, but it wasn't meant to be indulged in that manner. It defeats the purpose.
Yeah, and then I also found that for men, it increases their estrogen, and so and then it was also said that it uh it does something with their um men parts, so it decreases the girth and stuff like that. So and it makes them more feminine, because their estrogen is increasing, and it doesn't balance out with the testosterone, so they're becoming more feminine, and that's not good either. And then I also believe it makes people be, amotivational when it comes to that get up and go aspect, um, and be more of a daze or a stuck um, trance, if you will. Even though we have all the knowledge and information that we need, it's still like it almost it's like you go to a place in your mind of a fairy tale land, like the stuff that you desire, but you still have to act on it. Like you feeling the feeling of it if it's there, but you still have to act on that. You still have to do the tangible things like having the planner, having the journal, you know, moving forward in your plans. So I feel like it can stymie you and when it comes to action and just moving forward in what the most high has called you to do as far as your purpose and stuff like that. So um the CBD tincture perhaps.
Hey,
But yeah, for sure.
all right. Well, um, I'm gonna be starting my journey shortly. Wish me luck. But there's a lot of things I know. I know within my heart, mind, and soul and body that is not conducive to being healthy. Um, and I started the journey before, got kicked off for whatever reason. But from what I experienced, it was well worth it, and it's worth giving it a try again. Um,
Yeah. So,
but yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I mean, I would say, here's a question. Do you have a community of people that are on that journey too right now?
I do not.
And so, you know, community is key. Like when we're around like-minded individuals that want to obtain the same thing we are seeking, it makes it better for us to be able to manifest that. So, and then the accountability piece, right? So when you're in community with people that want to do the same thing, and then you're attached to coaches that has achieved it, it's you'll be more successful in achieving your goals because you're around like-minded individuals. And when you think of a mastermind or a group of people that are um, on the same wavelength, it's an energy exchange, all right? Because you're not putting yourself in a community of people that don't care about their health, that don't care about their wellness or their ascension. And so you're not having an energy exchange with them all the time. You have a group of people that are going in this direction. Not to say that you just dismiss those people, but as you begin to change, they begin to see it and say, "Ooh, um, I want to change this or that about myself. Can you help me?" So I would say community and that accountability is key when you're talking about making those types of changes.
All right. Well, one thing I will know, I do have you to talk to, things like that. You've been a great support for me. Um, I think a better thing is like my with my schedule. I'm not around too many people that deal with my personal life, so that would cut off the negative impact of people being around me and things like that with something I'm trying to do. So
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's if you seek, you should find. I feel it's out there. There's so many resources out there. There's so many groups of people that are willing to do that, and they're open about it too. So I just have to look.
Yeah, and I'm open to doing one-on-ones. I mean, uh you can definitely fill out that form.
I got it, and it's fairly simple too. That's what I love about it. It's not document box A or document C and all that. It just gets straight to it. What you need
Yeah,
to know, and then you go from there.
yeah. Group coaching is great, and I encourage everybody to want to be involved in group coaching. I'm down for that. Um, but also I'm willing and able to do one-on-one coaching, and at a price point that is um agreeable for sure.
Okay, okay. That's my heart just stopped, skipped a beat 1 second. Like, wait, wait. Okay, okay, okay. I could do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm about to wrap this up. I got some more paperwork and stuff I got to figure out to find for these disgruntled people. But It's always a pleasure. Um, I'm going to put this to where we can get definitely some feedback. I got a lot of text messages and things like that, but the fire emoji, I'm like, okay, I'm not really too hip with emojis, so I was like, I guess that's good. But
Are we live?
we are not live.
Okay.
We're pre-recorded, so, but it
Okay.
shows up once I premiere it, it shows up as live. So if I sit here and watch it while it's premiering, people pop up in the comments talking. So
Okay.
it's crazy though, because I'm like, once you subscribe, you'll see it. Every blue moon, you get people in there talking like, hey, this and that, talking about stuff on the episode like we are live. So they wouldn't know.
Okay.
So it'll be like maybe a 10-15 minute time difference from the time we quit. They're in there talking.
Uh,
If you subscribe or something, you can actually see it. This episode is kind of impromptu, so no one knows to look. But like when I was doing Tuesdays at 8 religiously, then you had to follow that knew you were there consistently to be there, in the comments and stuff like that.
mm-hmm.
I also say if anyone wants to watch this episode, go to Dooley Harris on YouTube, subscribe. I'll be sending this file your way too.
Awesome.
Okay. And also, if you're watching this, if you want to be a guest on the episode, just chime in. I talk to any and everybody. Everybody can be reached. Everybody has something to say. But thank you again, Maraea. Um, Wonderful episode again.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna call this one a wrap. And thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank
My
you.
pleasure.
All right.